Man. Hi guys. Apologize for the jacked up Wi-Fi. I hope this is better this way. I'm sorry, people. Let me get my books real quick. Hold on one moment. Hello? Yeah, welcome back. I apologize for our internet seems to be all better streams, of course. So welcome back. Hi everyone. Hey Jack. I apologize everyone for the jacked up internet. We've only lived in this house way still not unpacked yet. So we're figuring out some process. And hence the title, Trust the Team Back's Process. Huzzah. I have. Huzzah. Wait, what do you mean? I'm not married. I got huzzah. Let me take off my... I'm going to take this off because this is itching. All right. I'm just going to take a minute to have a slice real quick. Okay. This pizza moment. How was everybody's night then? I meant Wi-Fi. Oh, you're hit the wrong alphabet. It's all good. I'm single. I am not married. Yeah. My Wi-Fi is all jacked up, so I apologize for that. Hopefully it'll be better now. Sometimes it's just one of those nights. No, you should. I'm sorry to hear that about your cough, Joe. Been thinking about you all day. Story in a little bit. I'm having just a brief dinner moment. Gluten-free pizza, everyone. Favorite type of pizza? It's not my birthday. You guys are like 2 months late. My birthday's on the 26th of May. Why do you guys think it's my birthday? It's not. What are you trying to pull? Oh, it's all good. No worries, man. Yeah. I know. Yeah, road times and says some other things, so it's all good. It's not my birthday today. I wish it was, but it's not. Yeah, there's also a thing in Winnie the Pooh on the ride. So. Hi, James. Welcome. Good evening. Yeah, and early. Thank you. Appreciate it. I will be 20 in May. I'm just having a little bit of a dinner moment, guys. And then we'll pick up off. And for the ones who are just coming in that missed it, you guys can tell them. Then also, I was thinking we could enjoy a little bit of Disney music tonight as well, because that's not copyrighted. I liked him too. James, yeah, Winnie the Pooh is really cute and fluffy. So I got one gluten-free meat lovers pizza, you guys, and one gluten-free. You guys, for the ones who like pizza. Yeah, it's true. That's true, V. Welcome back, by the way. And in other streams too. So it's all right. Just imagine when it's actually my birthday, though, or like days. People are just gonna be like, "We're having a little bit of a dinner moment for the kids watching at home." I present Pete as all the packets fly over the. I pizza. I heard ooh, maybe if I find it in my almanac one of the streams, I can tell you guys. But there was a phenomenon was invented. Hi, Rosie. Welcome back. Good to see you. Oh, you have 19? Wow. 100. Not that I mean to sound arrogant. We, if you guys haven't already, please make sure to leave the smack on the subscribe, join, and be officially a part of the Team Backs family. Well, even I love you regardless, but it's important to lay the smack down because it helps, and make sure you also are sharing the stream. And I don't literally mean other than that, but like put it on your social media accounts, or if you have a friend that has social media, to let your friends know to hang out with you guys. And I got a lot of fun things planned for the future. It really means a lot to me on a deeper level, as some of you can relate to. But a lot of you can relate to as well, so that's nice too. Ooh, I'm gonna need some. Yeah. V, do you mind for me Olivia's link? Oh, if you could do that. Phineas and Ferb? Phineas and Ferb, to tell you the truth. I saw, let's see, Disney Channel shows I saw. I also did Lilo and Stitch, and as well as some actual like shows. Well, one of my friends, Cam, knows how to do that. So I think how you do it is, well, what I did was for Seahawks, I went to their channel and then I copied and pasted it on my laptop. That's what I did. But Olivia Elmenders, I will make sure to do that. Hold on. Oh. Wait a minute, guys. Hold on. I gotta take care of it. I'm sorry, guys. Are we still here? I'm sorry, guys, that this is very inconvenient. You're just gonna have to bear with me. I'm really sorry. Everybody's still with me. We may have to change the story time to another stream if this is how it's gonna be. Are we still here? My internet is just Mia Carter. I know you're out there. I know you're watching. Show yourself, darling. Yeah, I'm saying as of right now, I don't provided that you don't. I have no problem with I encourage that actually, but provided that you ask me for my permission, then I will give you the permission. But don't do it without my permission, please, if you can respect that. Guys, Michelle streamed a little while ago, and I only noticed 2 people in the chat, and I would have hung out a lot more than I did, but of course I had my others. That was when I was getting ready to stream. So if you guys could go check out Michelle so she could have more people to hang out with in her chats, please. I would really, I'm sure she would. Oh, Mia, hi. Albert, what's up? Even though I know you're probably doing some things that soon-to-be 8-year-olds do. We all were 8 once. What's up, my brother? I don't know. Spoiler. Aw, thank you, Michelle. Oh, you're so awesome. All of you are awesome. So, brace give me for that. You're just going to have to bear with me because this is our best connection spot here. Ba-la-la-la-la. Break from this for a second. Oh, he's outside? Well, he's got to do what he's got to do. We'll be here. Yeah. Everybody, make sure to go show each other's loves, or at least give them a peek. It's perfectly okay. I don't mind it, as long as you ask my. Or if I somehow, you can just ask the mods, and one of the mods will tell me. But we also, as well as my rules. Oh, see, I got hit in the head again. Yeah, Olivia, what's your question? If you guys have questions and stuff, don't be afraid to ask me. Because this is I want to get to know you guys a lot more. And I also want you guys in the chat to get to know if you're willing to do so. But I definitely made this to get to know you guys and have fun. And connect with you more personally compared to a lot of other people out there. So, Olivia, what do you want to ask me? Yeah, Resort TV one's a great. I'm personally kicked out of that stream for various reasons that can be difficult to explain, but yeah, you guys should go check out Resort TV one. Sure, absolutely. Also, I just want you guys to know that you will never hear me say And regardless of what people will say in their stream, that's their business. But never will I ever tell you guys that you should listener. Everybody has the freedom to watch whoever they like for their reason. And while we may not agree with it via private message, I think it's important that we respect it. There are a lot of people out there same way. But also, I just personally think it's the right thing. Okay, Seahawks, no problem. Sharon! Carter family rep. I'm just about done with the first one, so I'm gonna take a break from it so I can. Where, guys? Hello? I'm right here. So for the ones who are still kind of unfamiliar with that, that is a running joke. 6'5" does some with long legs. So joke on the channel. And that will forever be a running joke on the channel. But if we live stream at Disney, I don't know, unless we like sit down, a meatball stuck in my throat. Then we will have to see. Oh, wait a minute. Hello, everyone. This is not Edna mode. This is sorrow. You are pure. Hi, guys. Oh, should I live stream at Disney in December? I think you should and should not be afraid. If you feel that, I would definitely tune into your live stream, and I'm sure a lot of people would, especially in my family, that would be more than happy to join your family as well. I would definitely come in and lay the support for you if you choose to do so. Really do it. Your gut, Eddie, then to do what's also best for you. Oh, Michelle is live streaming right now. Well, maybe I'll go check her out or catch the replay when I'm done. Thank you for the update, Seahawks. Everyone, welcome my man that has been long behind the scenes. Behind end off, I won't bring up, but shout out to my man, Monorail section leader. Welcome to the mod team, my dude. Michelle is someone who's been 42 subs, kind of. So yeah, you guys should go, right? It is controlled lag in the forest. Some of those things are beyond my control, you know. Yeah, everybody make sure to go show James some love too, man. Everybody show each other love all the time. Me, yeah, you do whatever you gotta do. But sure, why not? Absolutely. For the most part, I think we get to the point in the video where this is the second episode of they want me to, everyone has to vote and put their hands, no help backs. I'm here watching and cleaning. Oh, that's good. Great. I'm here. Mia, go ahead. I would definitely. I'm going to try and shoot for it, though. I still don't know when I'll be at Disneyland. but when I do, so here's my, yeah, I've been only doing this for a couple months, and I took a week-long hiatus, so I've kind of fallen back a little bit. And I just kind of experiment things, and then you grow to become more confident, and I think that's always good. I mean, Disney, you can't always go wrong with that. So it just takes a little while, I think. Am I tripping, or is there only one person watching right now? Anyway, I have these storybooks here, guys. I would like my moment. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's the deal. Are we still having disconnection problems, you guys? I would hope not. These series of books, you guys. And I think they're, hence the story time with Bax. I think this would also be really great for kids to watch and learn some of their history that they never knew. So, without further ado, this is by the famous astronaut Buzz Aldrin right here. And for those who don't know who Buzz Aldrin is, Buzz Aldrin was from Apollo with somebody else and Neil Armstrong in being the first humans on the moon. In fact, while Neil Armstrong was the first to set foot on the moon, the one with the American to the moon, so there's a little story thing here about his life in a storybook setting, and I thought I would share with you guys because I've had this book for quite a long time. So here's the little. First came the original astronaut explorers, those of Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo. Then came the next generation. Now is the time for the youth of today, the third generation of future space explorers. Buzz Aldrin. In memory and former of the NASA art program, Wendell Miner, who did the paintings for this book right here. And some of you, so this may be a very good familiar experience. Here we go. The name my parents gave me was Edwin Eugene, but the name my sister gave me was the one that would stay with me all my life. Since I am only son, one in my family, brother, but my sister Faye Ann, a year older than I was, could only manage to say Buzzer. Later, it got shortened to Buzz, and no one ever called me anything else. On summer nights, the moon to our house that I thought I could reach out and touch the soft white light. I never imagined the one day I would walk on its surface, but maybe it was meant to be. You see, my father's job with Standard Oil took him all over the country, and he flew his own plane from coast to coast. During World War II, he served in the Army Air Corps and came home for visits, looking tall and important in his colonel's uniform. It took me flying for the first time in a small, shiny white plane painted to look like an eagle. Frightened, but mostly I was thrilled. I loved the speed, the sense of soaring high above the earth, supported only by the air passing around the metal wings. One would fly in a different color of adventure. And then you got the little eagle plane there. Ooh, Stanley Love, you met an astronaut? Awesome, man. All right. Usually, there were plenty to hold my attention right here on Earth. My family spent many Silver Lake in the Appalachian, and once roughly 6 or 7, I began collecting rocks everywhere. Those rocks were precious. They were beautiful. And most importantly, they were mine. One morning, I gathered up the best of my rocks down to the dock to show my friend a rock. I didn't want to give it to him. He pushed me, bucket and all, right off the dock. I wouldn't let go of my rocks, even though the weight of them light. My friend's father pulled me out. I still had my arms wrapped around the bucket. I knew that if something was important to you, you had to hold on. Check this out, guys. Look at that. He still is holding on to those rockets. So this is kind of like a life lesson, you guys. If something's really important to you, that could be family, that could be anything, balloons, it could be anything. Don't let go of that. You never know what could happen. Determination, strength, independence. Those were the qualities I worshipped in my favorite movie hero, and a lot of people's back in the day, the Lone Ranger. I went to the movies every Saturday, and sometimes I even snuck in through the fire escape when I didn't have the money to ride to New York City. 10 years old, I pedaled 20 miles down unfamiliar roads and busy streets, past neighbors and strangers, out into the unknown. Just like the Lone Ranger, I didn't need help from anyone. It took me all day, but I found the way and did it myself. So this is the George Washington Bridge. Sorry if you can see half my face, but I'm just showing the photo right here. Almost every day, I played some kind of sport, from swimming to high school track and field to pickup games of football in the park across the street. The older boys let me play because although I was small, I was tough. No matter what the sport, I played every game hard because I wanted to win. I loved being part of a team, working together to fight for victory. But it was even better to compete on my own, like when I flew over the bar in pole vaulting. Then it was just me trying, with everything I had, to be the best. Whether I won or lost was up to me. So here's the photo, guys. Any kids that could be, here you go. Very background. Okay. When I finished high school, my father wanted me to go to the Naval Academy, but I chose West Point instead. I wasn't interested in the Navy. I wanted to be in the Air Force, and I thought West Point would help me get there. The first summer at West Point was the toughest challenge I had faced. We had to run everywhere. No walking was allowed. We couldn't speak during meals. Every order from an upperclassman or a teacher had to be obeyed at once. At the end of the year, I was first in my class. By the end of 4 years, I had the grades to do whatever I wanted. And what I wanted more than anything was to fly. Here's a photo of Buzz Aldrin in his outfit there. And this, for all you Disney fans, this is going to be fun. After West Point, I joined the Air Force at last and learned to fly fighter jets fast and quick in the sky. I loved the feeling of breaking free from gravity. I loved being could go. When I finished my training, I flew 66 combat missions in the Korean War. Life or not, I don't know, but look at this. It's Goofy. Or no, Pluto, excuse me. I don't know why I said Goofy. That was a fail. Look at that. It was unbelievable. After the war, I was stationed in Germany, learning to pilot planes that flew faster than the speed of sound. But there were men flying faster than that. America's first 7 astronauts, the men in the Mercury program. Their goal was to be the first Americans to orbit the Earth. The astronauts seemed to be exploring outer space. But that changed when my friend Ed White from West Point told me his plan to apply to the space program. I already flew the fastest planes on Earth, but Mercury was a brand new adventure. It was America's first step. Check out this fighter jet. Bang. I was already a good pilot, but the Air Force had many good pilots. I needed to find something I could do better. I went back to a university, to the same school my father had gone to, and studied aeronautics and astronautics. I specialized in something called learning how to bring 2 different objects together. Working better now on the stream. Thank you, Olivia. Computers could do most of the work, for police needed to understand it themselves in case something went wrong. A computer can calculate numbers faster than the human brain, but people bring creativity and common sense to a problem, something a computer cannot do. I dedicated my final pay American that I were one of them. Yeah, you have to wait 12 to 12 hours to wait before you apply for after you apply for live streaming, Olivia. So here's in his this space, you guys. Look at that. What do you guys think? The first time I applied to the astronaut program, I wasn't accepted, but I didn't give up. When I applied a second time, I got in, I tried to appear always known. I was burnt. I was already a pilot and a scientist. Now I was an astronaut as well. Along with the other men in the space program, I studied computers and instruments and how to survive in the wilderness if my spacecraft crashed returning to Earth. We also had to learn to move in the weightlessness of space. The others trained with a system of ropes and pulleys, but I spent hours in the pool tethered to an airline. The simplest movements, turning a handle, tightening a screw, had to be practiced over and over and over. And here, practicing. Sorry, I had something. Whew. My first space flight with the legend Jim was to orbit and to practice rent his vehicle in space. Once the spacecraft was in orbit, I put on my spacesuit, opened the hatch, and drifted out into space. Only 1,500 miles per hour. 5 miles every second. Hey, Jesse, welcome back. You're going to have to bear with me on the lag, guys. Guys. So, okay. So that's 5 miles every second, you guys. It took us less than 2 hours to go all the way around the Earth. Real to me. I felt as if I were gently floating while the Earth spun. Well, refresh isn't really going to do it much either. My internet is just really messed up. I felt as if I were gently floating while the Earth spun beneath me. I could see the great curve of my home planet, the brown mass of Africa, night falling over the Indian Ocean, a shower of green meteors tumbling into the Australian desert. Look at that. Meteorite. How's everybody doing? We're doing good. I'm really sorry about all this. We've had better streams before. There's just a lot of things going on at once, so that's probably the reason. All right, I'm gonna get back to this now. After Gemini 12, there was a new mission, Apollo. The goal of Apollo was to put humans on the moon. And many people thought it couldn't be done. They thought that the powerful rockets needed to go that far could never be built. They thought that computers could do all the calculations. Okay, Seahawks, no problem. They thought that even if we did reach the moon, we would never be able to take off again to come home. But one by one, all the challenges were met. Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Buzz Aldrin and I were next in line for spaceflight. So we were chosen as the team for Apollo 11, the flight that would land on the moon. There it is. Out in Cape Canaveral, Florida, everyone. The Last Gamer. All right, I'll make sure to check it out. 3 years after my Gemini mission, yeah, I stood beside Apollo 11's Saturn V rocket. It was sunrise on July 16th, 1969. Neil and Mike were already in their places on board. For a few moments, I was alone. All my life, I had struggled to learn so that I could be what I was in that one moment, an astronaut on a mission to the moon. I felt nothing but calm confidence. I was sure we would make it there and back. It was time for me to board. Neil, Mike, and I lay side by side on 3 couches, tightly strapped in. Beneath us, I heard a rumble, like a faraway train. But as we lifted off, the movement felt so gentle. Hope you guys are enjoying the story so far. And bear with me if it lags. I apologize. I can't control the lag. I'm sorry. Outside the window of the Apollo 11, the Earth grew a way that I could hold up the bright disk from my sight. After 5 hours, we could take off our space suits and helmets and move around the cabin. We ate chicken salad. Wrapped in sleeping bags, we floated above the couches, comfortably weightless. For this time, Apollo 11 was our home. A tiny bubble of air and warmth through the icy cold. Four days after launch, and after traveling 240,000 miles, we were in orbit around the moon. Apollo separated in 2 parts. Mike would wait in orbit, and the Eagle was powerful enough to take Neil and me down to the moon's surface and back up to Columbia. But its walls were so thin, I could have punched a pencil through them if I had tried. The computer had chosen the spot for the Eagle to land, but through the window we could see on the computer go safely. We would have to do it ourselves. Neil took control. I called out to let him know how far we were from the ground. 200 feet, 100 feet, 40. By the time we landed, we were safely on the surface of the moon. I grinned at Neil. There was no need to say anything. We had work to do. Neil and I put on our spacesuits. Neil climbed out first and descended Eagle's ladder to the moon's surface. Everyone listened back on Earth heard Neil's first words. Except for man, mankind. I climbed down the ladder and joined Neil. There was no color on the moon. A flat landscape of rocks and craters stretched in all directions. Everything was gray or white, and the sky were as black as I've seen. I exclaimed, magnificent desolation. I could see Earth, our home in the sky, overhead. Blue water, white clouds, and I could see the moon dust in which Neil and I were now leaving our footprints. It's the moon, or the Earth, rather. Neil and I could force the pole only a few inches into the moon's soil. I knew that more than 500 million people back on TV worried that the flag or tip, but when we took our hands away, it stood straight. I snapped off a crisp salute just as I was taught at West Point. We moved quickly on to other tasks. I became a rock collector again, gathering samples for study back on Earth. Still, a brief moment perfectly year I felt and how I imagined the pride of every American on Earth. Neil and I set up a plaque that would remain on the surface of the moon with the simple words, "Here men from the planet Earth first set foot upon the moon, 19 AD. There's the iconic image right there. Okay. The end. It's now been 50 years, since almost 50 years since man first set foot on the moon. Is everybody with me still? Everyone still with me here? I did that a month. Am I still live? My favorite video game? That depends. I'm mostly a 2K Xbox consoles, but I like Mario too. You can't go wrong with those, right? Where is everyone? Where did everyone make sure to your old school? That's good. I wonder where everybody went. Or not get them back. I just need to find out. You guys still with me? Okay. Let's see. What else can we talk about? Just a little. The chat's not really flowing, so I hope everybody's not doing anything super crazy. I hope you guys are clicking the. This is a little awkward. Being here, talking to one person with me right now, yeah. All right. Let me see if I can contact some people. Everybody engage in the chat. Where are you guys? I just got done reading about Buzz Aldrin a little while ago. I want to know where some of you guys are. Guys in here. You guys want to chat? All right, Joseph. I got your message. It's all right. It's fine. I just want to see because I've been at 3 people for like 40 minutes and guys. So let's talk. let's talk about the good old times, man. What else do I have with me? A special book right here. I want to read this book, but I want to make sure people know this. So I'm maybe more time for people. Let me reach out to Pirate Red and see what she's up to. What is it like in Texas? At the moment, the weather is wonderful, but it's interesting. Interesting place. Barbecues and you talk in a southern drawl like this. Texas is interesting. For sure. Let me contact Pirate Red and see. Okay. I'm getting a little lost here. Excuse me. All right. Where did you guys go? I don't get anybody that I'm gonna. I don't know. I'm gonna have to call it a night, I think. Yeah, am I kidding? Maybe we'll have better luck in the morning. These guys can catch the replay. It's all good. Well, I didn't end this wishes that we didn't have a lag moment. Otherwise, we would still be streaming right now. But people aren't really in the chat. Really. Oh, hey man, it's all good, brother. There are people more important things than hanging out with us. It's all right. Maybe it's best if I sign off for tonight, unless I get a big random explosion of people coming in here. Hey Jack, what's up? I finished my story about Buzz Aldrin, you guys. I'm sorry if that wasn't the most interesting thing in the world, but the time with Bax, I want to do going on. Okay. Hey, you want me to continue? I'll continue. James was keeping me company though, so it's all good. Let's see what else we got here. So I need to tell something to my mother real quick. Hey, Mom. Okay, guys. Okay, Team Bax, I'm back. I am Bax again. We can talk about Disneyland after I of others. This is probably a very Matthew's box right here. I'm gonna read the back to you guys. Story. Autism is now affecting as many as one in every narrative, and the beautiful children it is affecting. So this book is called Matthew's Box. I've had this book for quite a while, and it talks about through the parent of the take a careful listen. I would appreciate this. Told through the eyes of a parent, the mysterious world of autism is described. Matt explores the world that's to this disorder that are misunderstood. Many parents struggle with how to explain what it is like for their child and themselves living with the effect of autism. The author's hope is that Matthew's box will, sorry, I'm getting a little teary, will and help not only those who have been affected by autism personally, but bring sensitivity to the unaffected population. He was diagnosed when he was born a beauty boy. The doctor described at one point as a delightful child. Matthew's autism was regressive in nature. This is a common occurrence. These children come into the world normal, healthy kids, but after many parents report their child starts to disappear after a series of immunizations, some over time. So this book right here is going to talk about the example. So this really, he gives me the courage to go outside my box and grow in ways I could only have dreamed. So here is the story. There's this boy I know. He lives in a box that doesn't show. Just like you. That's Matthew right there. I get glimpses of him now and then, just outside the walls that seem so tall, that really aren't there at all. Eyes for is the box that shouldn't be. Autism has built the wall around this boy so small. Just like a dream yumps to the wall. It isn't dark, you know, inside the box that doesn't show. See how got the shining light on. When you speak his name, he may. If you catch him on the day when ice cream hasn't gotten in the way. Hey, Jack, what's up, man? How you doing? You doing good? All you how to grow. Okay, Seahawks, no problem, man. I get sad when I see Matthew's box doesn't have to be. He is special in every way. It's just his box doesn't let him say. I'm trying not to get emotional, y'all. Open his box, and you can see all he learns from you and me. Be patient while you knock on these walls that are hard as a rock. There's this boy inside for you and him to talk. The end. You guys, and especially if you guys have kids or know anybody who has kids with autism, or like if you have any type of relatable struggle in that type of regard, it's just really it's just. And so now this is the main part of the night that I really want. It's about this guy right here. For those who don't know, this is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., biggest American name. Thought I'd read a little bit about him tonight. Here's the author's note. I was introduced to philosophy of nonviolence as a high school student in 1955 during the Montgomery Boyce boycott and as a teacher during the Southern sit-ins of the 1960s. The courage and determination of Southern blacks by nonviolence formed my life and ideas. I went to the March on Washington in 1963 to support this inspirational movement. I went south to teach in Mississippi. I saw firsthand the fragility, of being black in white America. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was one of the great. As a child, he was determined to use big words. I reread his autobiography, speeches, sermons, and articles. I found his big words. They are indirect, and his words continue to inspire me today. I'm getting a little misty and choked up, you guys. Doreen Rappaport. Here's the beginning of the story. He saw white only. His mother said these signs were in all southern cities and towns in the United States. Every time Martin read them, you are as good. Yeah. For the kids who don't know, this was our America at one point. It's hard to imagine today, but now that some of us are blessed to be in the position we're in. In church, Bible, he listened to his father preach. These words made him feel good. When I grow up, I'm going to get big words too. Martin grew up. Oh, wait. Martin grew up. He became a minister like his father, and he used the big words he had heard as a child from his parents and from the Bible. Everyone studied the teachings, of Mahatma Gandhi. He learned how the Indian nation won freedom without ever firing a gun. Martin said love when others said hate. Hate, I can do that. He said together when others said separate. He said peace I'm getting a little misty. This is a very powerful moment, you guys. When I read inspirational stuff like this, I get choked up a little bit. In 19, Rosa home from work. A white man told her to get up from her seat on the bus so that he could sit down. She said no, which is if kids are watching, that was the right thing to do. And she was arrested. Montgomery of her, they decided not to ride the buses until they could sit anywhere they wanted. For 381 days, they walked to work and school and church. They walked in cold and in blistering heat. Martin walked with them and talked with them, sang with them, and prayed with them until the white city leaders could sit anywhere they wanted. What are written, someone will say, there lived black people who had the courage to stand up for their rights. In the next 10 years, black Americans all over the South protested for equal rights. Martin walked with them and talked with them, sang with them, and he prayed with them, ordered them to stop. But they kept on marching. I've heard the word wait. It is 100 years for our rights. Here's a picture of the movement, you guys. They were jailed, beaten, and murdered, but they kept on marching. Some black Americans wanted to fight back with their fists, them not to. The power of love. Love. United we stand, baby. Team back strong. Many white Southerners hated and feared Martin's words. A few threatened to kill him, and his house was bombed. His brother's house was bombed. But he refused to stop doing what he did. Remember, if I am stopped, this movement will not be stopped, because God is with this movement. The marches continued. More and more Americans listened to Martin's words. He shared his dreams and filled them with hope. I have a dream that one day in Alabama, black boys, girls, and white and after 10 years of protests, the lawmakers in Washington voted to end segregation. The white-only signs in the South came down. Look at that. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. cared about all America. He cared about all over the world. People admired him. In 1964, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. He won it because he taught words, not fists. Welcome back, Seahawks. Martin went wherever people needed help. In April 68, Tennessee. Freedom Rider are awesome. Nice. He went to help garbage collectors who were on strike. He walked with them, talked with them, sang with them, prayed with them. Same thing we know Dr. King. On his second in Memphis, he was shot. His big words are alive for us today. Rest in peace, Dr. Martin Luther King. Here are some important dates that I want to discuss. January 15th, 1929, Martin Luther King is born in Atlanta. June 18th, 1953, Coretta and Martin Luther King are married. On May 17th, 1954, yes sir, Seahawks. On November 17th, 1955, Yolanda Denise King descended of the Montgomery Boyce boycott. January 10th and 11th, 1957, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference is founded and Dr. King is chosen president. October 23rd, also 1957, Martin Luther King III is born. The first sit-in in Greensboro, 1960, got born January 30th, 1961. November 61 to August of 62, there's a protest movement in Albany, Georgia. March 28th of 63, Bernie Albertine King is born. April 1963, some of you guys know this, is the famous I Have a Dream speech in Washington, D.C., known as Washington. 1964, the Civil Rights Act is signed prohibiting discrimination in public accommodations and in employment. The day is December 10th, 64, Dr. Nobel Peace Prize. January through March of 65, there is a protest movement in Selma, Alabama. 6th, 65, the Voting Rights Act becomes law. Tragically, on April 4th, 1968, by James, a week after Dr. King is assassinated. President Lyndon B. Johnson II opens in Atlanta. November 1982, U.S. Senate approves the erection of a monument to Dr. King in D.C. January 5th, King's birthday is celebrated as a national holiday for the very first time. And that is Dr. King in a nutshell. So we have just a few more, and then we will call it a night, my friends. Play some relaxing music to end the night off just right. The next one, one of my favorite stories as a child was this book right here. And it talks about when Jackie Robinson broke and integrated baseball in 1947. So let's get it going. Here are some old real photos. This was the fans out there, Brooklyn Dodgers team. And I'm looking. I believe, where's Jackie at? I believe that's Jackie Robinson right there. I know it's kind of hard to tell in black and white, but I'm pretty sure that's him right there. That's him. Yeah, I think that's him from the looks of it. Here we go. My ear was glued to the radio, like every other ear in Brooklyn. It was opening day, 1947. More specifically, April 15th, 1947. And every kid in Brooklyn knew this was our year. The Dodgers were going to go all the way. We had Jackie Robinson, the first Negro player in Major League Baseball. As I listened to the game, melted into hours. The innings, it all in my mind's eye. Pitch after pitch, swing after swing. I dreamed of the day I could see it all for myself. Our neighborhood was only a short subway ride from Ebbets Field, home of the Dodgers, and their new first baseman. I loved baseball, Clinton, and they hated Jackie Robinson. This is what 1940s life in Brooklyn was like. One day, my father came home early from work to my bedroom and announced, "Field." He didn't say it out loud. My father was with his hands. I couldn't believe it. Dad had never seemed to care much about baseball. "I want to meet Jackie Robinson," Dad signed. I was finally going to see a real game. The Giants. I got my glove and ball, Dodgers cap, and scorecard. I stuck my lucky pencil behind my ear. As we went down the steps, I tossed the ball to Dad. But he'd never played baseball like me. He dropped it. This is about Jackie Robinson for the ones just tuning in. It's pretty stories as a kid. But the whole ride, Dad can meet Jackie Robinson. Besides, Jackie doesn't know sign language. How would they talk to each other? This is them on the subway. They're going to the game. Back in those days, they used to take the subway cars to the ball game. You guys, this was long before Uber and everything. The line to get into Ebbets Field snaked around Sullivan Place and up to Bedford Avenue. My dad led through the gloomy underbelly of the stadium up the dark ramp. Then we tumbled into bright just like this field. As I get the breath caught in my throat. I'd never seen anything so perfect as the inside of Ebbets Field. There, laid out at my feet, was the emerald green field, each blade of grass reflecting the light from the afternoon sun. The field were sharply marked in white. The dirt dotted with fat canvas bags at each base and a black rubber plate at home. I knew if I lived to be 100, I would never again see a sight so beautiful. Hey, peanuts. Hey, hot dogs. Get them while they're hot. Dad and I sat on the even though it was silent, so it was the Symphony Band. Hi, Rosie. And down the aisles playing The Worms Crawl In. The Worms Crawl Out. The music was ear-splitting. Dad couldn't hear, laughed along with everyone else, raggedy bellows and whistles. When the game started and Jackie ran out on the field, Dad yelled real loud, Jackie, Jackie, Jackie. Only it didn't come out that way. It sounded like, Aggie, Aggie. Since my dad couldn't hear, everyone looked at my dad. Shoes. Hold on. Please let's not try to spam the chat, please. So here, Mr. Jackie Robinson. As the Giants began hooting and hollering. They called Jackie names. I was going to ask about that. Yeah, just she's kind of known for doing that. So try and take care of it if you can. Sorry guys, I got distracted from the story. Sorry. As Jackie stood at first base, the Giants began hooting and hollering. They called Jackie names, horrible names. Dad things I see. I had to finger spell. I knew no sign for them. Dad listened with a sad little smile on his face. In the ninth inning, welcome to the channel for joining Team Bax. Appreciate it. Jackie bunted and beat the throw to first. Then he stole second. On the next Dodger hit, he moved to third. The score went 4-all. The Giants pitcher took for home. Jackie, 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 Aggie, I had screamed. This time nobody seemed to notice. The heck with the Giants. They were nothing. We had Jackie Robinson. Every day when Dad came home from work, he started asking me questions. Yes, Seahawks. He started asking me questions about baseball. He wanted to know everything I knew, especially about Jackie Robinson. What's Jackie's batting average? 247, I explained. What's an RBI? He asked. Runs batted in. Fielding average. What's that mean? I told him. You teach me baseball? He signed. Okay, I said. One night, Dad came home with a baseball glove. Let's have a catch. We tossed the ball back and forth for supper. Dad knew he could hold it was by trapping the ball against his chest. That had to hurt, but Dad just smiled. Jackie never drops the ball, he signed. He catches it with one hand, not like me. All that week, we practiced. Dad dropped the ball most every time, even when I threw it underhand. Throw it regular, Dad said. Hello, Captain Phasma. Welcome to the stream. I'm having a little bit of story time with Bax. We're reading about and Phasma to the stream. Everyone make sure to also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. It is greatly appreciated. Oh wait. Yeah. This is kind of like a little story time moment for tonight. This is some of my favorite storybooks as a child. And you'd have to rewind the stream and catch the replay. We're going to listen to some music, and then we're going to call it a night. Before we be back again tomorrow. Dad and I kept on going to games whenever we could. Every time Jackie came out to his position. How old am I? I am 19. Crowd. Aggie, Aggie, Aggie. Jackie never looked over at us. He just stared down the line at the next hitter. One Sunday, the Dodgers were playing the St. Louis Cardinals. What a game. Our pitcher had a no-hitter going. And then it happened. On a simple grounder that hit the leg. On purpose, too. For racial reasons. 52,000 eyes popped. 26,000 jaws dropped. 26,000 tongues were stilled. And in that awful silence, my father jumped to his feet. No, not fair. Aggie, Aggie, Aggie. She was timed out because she kept repeating Bax over and over again. And she kind of does the same thing for other streams as well. We've given her a couple of warnings about it, and it keeps happening. So that's the reasoning behind that. Also, for the people watching back home, it's just a much cleaner. I don't mind it, but when it gets to be repetitive, like the balloons and a bunch of other things, that's fine. But it's okay. We want everybody to have an enjoyable time with us, but it gets pretty. I'm more patient than other people, but I just need it out of respect for my audience. I need to keep it moving. So the Brooklyn crowd went nuts. They leaped to their feet and joined my father. Jackie, Jackie, Jackie. The name bounced off the brick walls, climbed up the iron girders, and rattled around under the wooden roof. But Jackie just stood at first base, his face a blank mask, blood streaming down his leg. It was almost as if he didn't hear. The crowd. How can I share pictures with you? You would have to send that to me via. You would have to share that with me via a social media, possibly, but I don't have any social media at the moment. Until then, you're gonna see them, but I'm not giving out my number or anything. Oh, here's the. Yeah, I know she did that out of love, but it's. I love her very much as well, but it's a little repetitive. I know everybody has great intentions, but it's out of respect for other people too. They don't know that. So I can't make everyone happy, but I need to make the majority happy for sure. All that month, Dad and I followed everything Jackie did. We read and reread every report of every game that was printed in the New York Daily News. Dad started a scrapbook. If there was any mention of Jackie Robinson, He cut out the article and pasted it in his scrapbook. The scrapbook got thicker. The Dodgers kept winning, and the opposing teams kept writing Jackie Robinson. But Jackie never reacted. He didn't even seem to notice, and he never complained. Sure, James, I would be happy to check it out. For sure. The Dodgers clinched the pennant that season when the Cardinals beat the Chicago Cubs. Dad and I went downtown the next day to see the big parade to honor Jackie Robinson. And back in the neighborhood, we had a block party to celebrate. Look at everybody having fun times in Brooklyn, New York. It didn't matter whether the Dodgers won the last game of the season, since we were already over the top. But Dad and I didn't care. We went to Ebbets Field anyway. We went to see Jackie Robinson. In the third inning, Jackie smacked the ball to deep left field for a double. Then he flew home like the wind, his feet barely touching the base path. The Brooklyn crowd went crazy. Go, 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 Jackie! Go, 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 Aggie! My dad screamed right along with them. Finally, late in the day, as deep shadows stretched across the infield, Jackie caught a line drive hit down the first baseline. It was the last out of the game. As the crowd cheered, Jackie stood alone at first base, staring at the ball in his glove. I love her too. Staring at the ball in his glove. Then he turned and threw it into the stands, right to my father. That's when my dad did something he had never done before. He reached up and caught the ball in his bare hand. I'm not sure, but I think I saw Jackie Robinson smile. My dad dropped the ball into my empty glove. And just like that, the baseball season of 1947 was over. The end. All right, this is the last story for tonight. And then we'll listen to a couple of songs, and then we will go into my respective outro. Okay. This book is titled Barack. Looking back, it's hard to believe how far he has come. The man whose name the world now knows. Falling asleep. I'm almost done, Dad. It began in Kansas, home of Barack's mother. It began in Africa, home of his dad. It began in Hawaii one moonlight night, the night Barack was born. Sometimes it was a sad journey. When Barack was just a toddler, his father moved far away. Sometimes it was an enchanted journey. When he was only 6, his mom brought him to Indonesia to live with her new husband. For young Barack, Indonesia was a most exotic land. His stepfather kept an ape as a pet and 2 crocodiles. But it wasn't all wonderful in Indonesia. There was poverty unlike anything Barack's young eyes had ever seen. And sometimes Barack felt very out of place. Who am I? He wondered. Surrounded by his Indonesian classmates, he looked different from them, spoke a different language. It is daylight savings, you're right. I gotta turn my clock back. He spoke a different language. His birthplace was thousands of miles away. Where do I belong? These were the questions Barack would ask again and again, on this most unusual journey. But when the journey brought him back to Hawaii, alone to attend an American school, the place where he belonged was with his loving grandparents, who took good care of him until and after the thankful day his mother returned to Hawaii with his new half sister, Maya, only to go back to Indonesia, taking Maya with her. Sometimes it was a confusing journey. When Barack was only 10 years old, his father just showed up one day, a total stranger. Who was this man? Barack would wonder through the years, for this was the only time he ever saw his father, who has long since moved back to Africa. Yeah, I should. I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna get some sleep for sure. We'll do some music tomorrow. I'm gonna finish this though. And when his father packed his bags to leave again, Barack could not stop imagining what his father's homeland, Kenya, must be like. On the other side of the world, there were half brothers, half sisters, aunts, uncles. They wore different clothes. They spoke a different language. And yet, they were his family. Hi, Rosalie. Good evening. For Team Bax, everyone, please make sure to hit the thumbs up. We've had a really wonderful night. I'm just wrapping it up with this story real quick, and I'm going to go into my outro before coming back tomorrow. So here's the story, you guys. We're gonna have another big day tomorrow, you guys. Where do I belong? The voice inside his head kept asking. In school, he had friends of all different backgrounds. This is kind of like how I relate to you guys in a way. African American, Caucasian, Hawaiian. Good evening to you. So what did that occasion him, African American? For some African Americans, though, it made him less African American. Who am I? Oh, but this was a journey on which Barack would find out exactly who he was. From his college days, when he learned how much he could move people just with the power of his words in a speech. Oh, it's okay, Rosalie, no problem. It's all right. To his early days in Chicago, where his job was helping poor people help themselves and helping them for very little pay in return. Some people thought he was too young, too privileged to ever understand their poverty. Sometimes it was a lonely journey, like for me. What am I doing here? He often wondered, with the cold Chicago wind in his face, slowing him down, pushing him back. But he didn't give up. For somehow, his journey had led him to Trinity Church, surrounded by the people from his neighborhood, including many he had helped. And there, swept up in the waves of their singing, with tears on his cheeks, he knew why he was there. He knew who he was, and he knew where he belonged. Okay, James, have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow morning, hopefully, sometime. He was there in Chicago because he cared about these people. They were his family. People in Kenya were his family. Indonesians were his family. And no matter where he was, the world was his home. And who he was could be summed in one word: lovable. When you learn to love yourself, you make it easier for others to love you. Yes, let's go Lakers, baby. This is what happened to Barack, who started climbing up a ladder of popularity that led him to a seat in the Illinois State Senate, and then up further to the United States Senate. He arrived there during a dark time in American history. All across America, people were losing their jobs, losing their houses, losing their sense of hope. Many people were tired of a war that had gone on too long. They were tired of fighting with their neighbors over politics. They were just tired, period. I don't know if we're going to make the playoffs, you guys. Oh, Lakers, no. It's not looking good. In an earlier age, there had been hope. There had been a man named Martin Luther King who had spoken with passion of his hope for better days. He had said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." The content of their character. There we go. Love you, Daddy. And on the horizon, at the dawn of a new age, there appeared a man who would be the embodiment of King's dream. A presidential candidate whose very being was a bridge that joined nations. Here was a man who spoke of hope and change, whose strong words lifted up the downhearted people and made them believe that the world was not beyond repair. Here was a man whose journey had brought him to cheering rallies all around America, including one in Birmingham, Alabama. Oh my gosh, this is a Laker massacre going on here. Birmingham was a place where police had once turned fire hoses on African Americans, who for many years were made to sit at the back of a bus, drink from separate drinking fountains, watch as their churches were burned to the ground, and hear, right here, this great man spoke in a beautiful voice about his own dream of bringing people together, overcoming our differences, not just in the United States of America, but around the whole world. Here, right here, in this country, with its history of slavery and racism, a man named Barack Hussein Obama became the first African American president in United States history because he refused to let other people tell him who he was or where he belonged. Because again, once again, his journey was just the beginning. All right. Well, my friends, it's about that time again. I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. I know it was very long tonight, but I had to do it. I missed all of you guys very, very much. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me tonight. And if you're just now clicking on this point in the video, make sure, if you haven't already done so, please make sure to hit the subscribe button down below to join the Team Bax family, so that you, as well as please leave a like on this video if you really, really enjoyed it or felt truly inspired by it. And also, most importantly, if you guys have social media by chance, it could be Facebook, it could be Instagram, or if you have a friend that has those type of things, make sure to tell all your friends about it at school, work, anything, that type of thing, so that we can all make a difference in people's lives that are especially really struggling, that could use some motivation. That's the main purpose and behind what I do. Also, make sure to always pay it forward with kindness and respect, compassion, understanding, because there are a lot of people out there that are struggling, and we want them to engage in the chat. We want to help them out any possible way we can, even if it's for as little as 2 seconds or as much as an hour and 54 minutes. It's just a really big blessing to have the honor of doing what I do for the sake of doing what's right, because it's right. And I don't care what anybody else says, because I know myself to some degree. I know you guys that are helping me out and supporting me. And I just could not be more blessed to be in the position I'm in to make a difference. And finally, with that being said, You guys know the routine as well as I do. This is Baxter Wild Burley, aka the Jedi Balloon Master. And I will see all of my friends with the Baxman salute in the next video. Don't forget, God first, God bless. And as always, my friends, to keep it Team Bax. Let's go! Let's go! I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. So long for now. Bye, my friends and family.